pull this up here. Peace and prosperity to all living beings within range of my divine voice. It is Apatah standing amongst the trees with you again. We are on episode 178, 178 beautiful episodes. Hey, Miko. 178 beautiful episodes of coming out grounding every single day. We will not miss a day, no matter what the case may be. I am on late tonight. I had some spiritual assignments I had to take care of today. And y'all know and understand that this is a beautiful experience where I use all the energy I can to provide a loving experience for everyone. And in doing so, hey ARG, thank you so much for being here. Peace and prosperity to you. Hey Katie, thank you so much for being here. Peace and prosperity to you. Y'all can understand and appreciate, I hope, that when I come on here, I give my all. And so I'm always looking on for ways to improve myself. But when we are improving ourselves, we don't just want to improve our physical, we want to improve our mental, we want to improve our emotional, we want to improve our spiritual as well. Juliet, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Peace and prosperity to you. I was just explaining how and why I was a little bit late today. Well, we're very late today. I had some spiritual assignments I had to take care of today that took my time. And then afterwards, my beautiful moderator went on live, so I spent time with her. And it's all in divine timing because the people who need to hear the message tonight will hear it. And of course, we'll make sure we get it up on YouTube for anyone who misses it anyway. So we're going to dive right in. We're going to dive right in. I'm not even going to send out too many shares. Pete, thank you so much. I appreciate you, Juliet. I'm about to respond to my own name. Actually, no, let me go ahead and share it out. I just heard my spirit team like, no, share the live. There's some people who may want to come join. Let me go ahead and start sharing out real quick. But tonight, we keeping it on topic. And I got to see some beautiful reminders about some of the things we're going to talk about tonight. But as I'm sharing out the live, if those of you were here yesterday or the day before, what we tapped into in regards to understanding our energy and understanding our connections, which is our basis for this specific week, is right, enhancing our connections, right? Hey Nina, peace and prosperity to you. We want to enhance our connections. We don't want to just settle in on our connections being one way. Ellie, my beautiful moderator, thank you for being here. Pisces Princess, peace and prosperity to you, Pisces Princess. Jay, good to see you, brother. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. I love and appreciate your energy, brother. I love and appreciate your energy. Everybody, I just enjoy all y'all energy so much. And this ties into our topic because yesterday, the day before, we start talking about what I like to call that summer camp love, that enchantment passing through, right? I wanted to set the stage by getting people to remember that magical moment you had with that stranger that you may never ever see again, maybe never ever saw again, but you'll never forget the way it felt in that communication and whatever happened with that person, right? I appreciate you, brother. It's so good to see you. Hey, adore me, Taurus gang. So I want to reset that stage because those moments in life where we had that exclusive moment, right? Hey, stay gorgeous. Peace and prosperity to you. Hey, Van. Peace and prosperity to you. Thank you all so much for being here. I want us to get back into that energy. I want you to remember that person you met on that plane ride. WG, we good to see you, brother. We love you. Thank you so much, stay gorgeous. Hey, Cross, peace and prosperity to you. I want y'all to think back on that magical plane ride, that person you met in that ride, that conversation changed your life. I want you to remember back to that summer camp moment when you was kids and you met that person that you still think about, right? Because just like Maya Angelou said, right? We can come in contact with people. You may remember, excuse me, let me say this correctly. Rest in peace to Maya Angelou. You may forget someone's name. You may even forget what they said, but you will never forget how they made you feel. I'm going to say that again. You may forget someone's name. You may forget what they said, but you will never forget how they made you feel. That is by design. God doesn't make mistakes, and these moments matter to us, and I'm going to talk about a little bit about how we can use that energy now. how we can use that to adjust our discernment, to adjust our compass, our inner compass, for understanding what connections we want around us and what ones we don't. Because there's a feeling that is attached to those moments, a feeling of purity, a feeling of love, a feeling of trust, a feeling of allowing ourselves to just flow, a feeling of surrender, right? When we think about the word surrender, a lot of us may think of it in a toxic way, but realistically, it's a positive thing to surrender. Omar, peace and prosperity to you. Thank you so much for being here. Omar Buckley, we love you. But realistically, that is such a loving thing to have the option to do, to feel like you're in such a safe enough environment that you can just let go, not worry, not stress, right? And a lot of times when we meet that stranger, that person that we just magically want to talk to, or just have that magic moment, that, you know, that freedom of being able to just speak to someone, kind of like your therapist in that random moment, it is a God-given moment to allow you to release, to allow you to feel free, to allow you to see a part of yourself that you would not see otherwise, because that is what our perspectives are for. All of us have these experiences, all of us have these perspectives that we're supposed to share with each other. When we come in contact with each other, hey Tangela, peace and prosperity to you. Thank you so much for liking the live. When we come in contact with each other, when we start to work with each other and network, we're supposed to share those moments with each other to gain understanding and gain more perspective. So I want us to kind of set the mood in thinking about those moments. All of us have had one, at least one, probably multiple, right? Now, the whole point in bringing this up, the whole point in bringing us to the front of our consciousness is because I want you to remember the feeling. Now, I've been kind of prepping y'all for this already, right? For those who remember, I want to say maybe a month ago, I had an episode or two where I had everyone do a little homework. Hey, Keita, we love you, Keita. Thank you so much for coming in. I had everyone do a little homework, and we had everyone do a list. You write down 20 things on this list, and then make it your hot and cold list. Hot is something you can't live without. Cold, something you cannot stand, right? Now, in us doing exercises like that, we're taking the time to analyze ourselves and kind of record, okay, well, I really like this, I really don't like that, right? Which sounds simple and basic, but it's necessary because we don't analyze ourselves enough, right? In the situation we're talking about with this loving connection, thank you, my brother, I appreciate you so much. In the situation we're talking about with this loving connection, all of us who have had that moment and can remember, it happens to me all the time, Julia. I got fat fingers. I be tapping and just, oops. And it always swipes me to that person who I ain't been in their life in like forever. And then I got to kind of play like, oh, hey, how you doing? And then, you know, I give them a peace and prosperity, drop a heart me and dip. Like, oh, good to see you. My bad. And I ain't been in their live in weeks. It happens all the time. I think TikTok do it on purpose. Matter of fact, I know they do. I'm sorry, let me and get back to where we was going. For those who have remember those experiences, right? That magical moment with that stranger where you got to talk their ear off, when you got to express yourself, when you got to get some knowledge or advice, all of us are going to think about that moment as a hot moment. This is key. Right? We're going to all think about that moment. Like, oh, yeah, that was great. Oh, that was wonderful. Oh, it was life-changing. Oh, it was critical. All positive feelings are going to come up from that moment for all of us. Everybody here, right? Now, when we are gauging our people that we're networking with, associating with, we now have a bit of a scale to start to feel out the energy that we feel immediately. We just came from my beautiful moderator's wonderful game show. And in the game show, we talk about a couple toxic things. We're adults. We can do that. We're all healing. We can do that. And it's like, realistically, a lot of the answers and a lot of things we talk about kind of reference back to the fact that we usually miss the red flags ourselves. Hey, Kay, peace and prosperity to you. Loyal, I love you. Thank you so much for tapping the screen. So good to see you. we usually recognize, feel a red flag. It's an instinct, it's a moment that it clicks early on and like, this ain't on fire for me. And literally that's all it could really have to be. That's all it really has to be. Like, okay, this ain't necessarily cold, but it's not on fire for me. And a lot of us, and I've done it before too. I love you back, loyal. I've done it before too, where I will say, okay, well, the situation isn't cold. It's kind of warm. Let me see if it's gonna get hotter. Let me just see if it's gonna get a little hotter. If I drop this in there, let's see if it starts to boil. That's BS. We gotta stop that. That's BS. We gotta stop that. And that's why we talk about stuff like this, because we're given the opportunity very early on to recognize if it's hot or cold or not. And it's not to say that we're going to recognize everything. Everything takes practice. Everything is like a muscle when it comes to intuition. It happens. We're supposed to ignore a couple things. Let me see if they let me pin you real quick, because that's important, loyal, right? Well, they won't let me pin it because I don't know why TikTok thought that was toxic. It wasn't toxic. But loyal said definitely ignore too many times, right? We all are going to have that experience, because that's part of our gauge as well. Because when we ignore it, we have some consequences. And, if it's one of many things that we can reference to across all religions, if you spare the rod, you spoil the child sometimes, right? That goes for us as adults. Sometimes we need that spanking to really remember. Sometimes we need to touch that fire and get a little burnt to have some real memory of experiencing it. Yes, but it helps to understand so we can use our awareness. Exactly. And just like you said, Jay, earlier, we are in this major transition period. So right now is the time that we have to start training our minds, training our emotions, and handling all these world experiences, and still being able to receive our abundance in chaotic circumstances. While the whole world is on fire, we get rain of abundance because we're preparing ourselves. That's what a lot of this is about. Let me back. So, when we think about these hot moments, these hot situations, there's a feeling that happens in the early on of it. Think about that, right? I want everybody to remember that moment. Again, the enchantment passing through moment. That stranger on the airplane or the bus or the train that you just couldn't help yourself but talk to, couldn't help yourself but to open up to, right? There's a moment in the very beginning of that where it's like you get that tap on the shoulder that says, this person's okay to talk to. This person's okay to listen to. This person is okay to vibe with. Thank you for coming back, Keita. We love you. And we all know what that feels like, even if we can't immediately register it. Hey, Candace, peace and prosperity to you. So good to see you. We all immediately recognize it. Whether or not we know how to register it and act with it is another thing, but that's part of this training anyway. But we all know that that feels like, because that is what pushes or propels us to let our guards down. It is natural instincts. It's natural instincts and a part of our journey, Keita, because it's all by design. Everybody we come in contact with is all to help the situation, and all in order to build upon ourselves and our journey. Thank you so much, my beautiful moderator. I appreciate you so much. So let's tap into that thought and that feeling, right? Now, we got our hot gauge. That's our hot gauge for people. WG, so good to have you come back, brother. We love you. That's our hot gauge. Sonny, I love you. I appreciate you, right? That's our hot gauge for people. That person, that moment where you felt free around them, where you was able to let your guard down. Thank you so much for the heartbeat, Apothic One. We love you. We appreciate you. That is our hot gauge for people. And it's a perfect way to gauge ourselves, because that was a stranger. Michelle. I love you, Michelle. So good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. That's a perfect way of gauging any stranger because that person was a stranger. Technically, they still are a stranger. You may have never seen that person ever again, but you still remember how it felt to talk to them. You may not even got their name. We was just joking about situationships not knowing somebody's last name. But realistically, you don't know this person. You don't know their name. You may not even completely remember their face, but you remember again how they made you feel. And you felt free. You laughing at me or doorman? I appreciate you being here. But think about that for a second. That circumstance is given to us as a gift. Michelle, I love you. I appreciate you. Because we got to have a whole gauge, a whole compass set to let us know this is what good is going to feel like at the hot level. This is how you want to build your community, build your relationships. You want to come in hot. You don't want to come in okay cold. You want to connect with the people who make you feel like you can let go, who make you feel like you can be accountable but loved on. And you build from there. Now, the catch to that is a lot of us in the past, and I've done it in the past too. I ain't gonna never talk about none that I ain't never been through as well. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm still human. A lot of us in the past have had those hot moments or hot people, and then we start to bring around some of the slightly mid people, those lukewarm people. Like, well, we still trying to find ways of getting them to boil is really what we're doing. I don't want to quite get rid of this lukewarm person. So maybe if I bring him around such and such, maybe if I do this, maybe if I do that, it'll turn up. They catch fire. No, that's not necessary. And we have the proof. Oh, there goes another firefly, y'all. Hold on. We're going to see if we catch this firefly on camera. Oh, it's a couple of them. Mama Lee, peace and prosperity to you. Y'all know I got ADHD. I can't help it. I see these fireflies lighting up around me, and they done got camera shy. It was only a couple of them anyway. We'll come back to them. But again, that is a gauge for us to recognize what to deal with and what not to deal with. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We know that what that fire feels like. Now, even though it's rare, it's supposed to be rare. Because we can't be friends with every single person. You can love everyone. I love them too, Sonny. They've been coming out a lot lately, and it's been really awesome. But we can't, it's not that we can't love everybody. It's okay to love everyone, but we can't have great relationships with everyone. With the spirit relationships with everyone. What the spirit guy said about me, Jay, thank you for that, brother. I appreciate you. But we can't have the best bonds ever with every single person. That's not even by design. We are loved, we are connected, but we don't build every relationship. Not every relationship is meant to be built. Not every book is meant to be read. We can't, and I shouldn't say we can't, because there are some people who will spend their whole life searching for knowledge or searching for answers to something, right? But even in those regards, let's talk about Einstein. Let's talk about Tesla, right? These gentlemen were obsessed with their mindset. They were obsessed with their mission. They were obsessed with their journey. But even if you look at that, that's just one realm of knowledge. And that's all they focused on. They didn't know, they weren't experts in relationships and love. They weren't experts in in theology. They weren't even experts in astronomy. Exactly, I'm learning this myself, even down to energy, if it doesn't feel good. Exactly. Because we need to cultivate what we're meant to cultivate. And we can use this meter, this compass, to recognize that. Now, what's deep about this is, again, we're all at higher levels. I mention this all the time. Everyone here is already doing the healing work. Everyone here is already lifting their frequency. So, of course, we're not talking about incorporating negative people, right? That reminds me of being a light in the dark. Yes, I haven't seen one in a long time. Hopefully I can get some more on the camera for you, Sonny. Hopefully I can get some more on the camera for you. I'm going to try to. We got a bunch on camera yesterday. I'm going to make sure I get that replay from yesterday posted. Absolutely healing and lifting our frequency. And we all are, Juliet. That's why we all are here. We're all able to tap into this love and energy. And that's important. I say that because when we are starting to separate the connections at this high level, at this advanced stages in our life, it doesn't mean that somebody who's cold is going to be a negative person. That's really key that we understand that. Just because they're cold to us doesn't mean they're a bad person, doesn't mean that they're toxic, doesn't mean that they're negative. Thank you so much for being here, Apothic One. Mango Flower, we love you. Thank you so much for being here. I need to stress that for y'all real quick. We have come a long way in our journey. We all have done the healing work. We all recognize healing has no ceiling. We've gotten to that point of life. We're not surrounding ourselves by negative, toxic people. But that still doesn't mean that every single person in your circle that's around you is cold or hot. It could be one or the other. And we need to be able to tap into that energy because there are connections that we'll have that are meant to drive you in a certain direction. They're meant to drive you in a certain direction. And if we are able to kind of feel that out, we can start to kind of gauge what God has in store for us. Because God will put in position for us people to network with for very specific reasons. We won't know what those reasons are. We can have imagination behind it, but it's up to us to surrender to that current. So what's the easiest way to allow us to surrender? It's for us to have that enchantment passing through moment with these people. For us to have that moment with these connections where we can feel safe immediately. Not building up the safety. We ain't got certain connections you didn't have. With that enchantment passing through, you didn't have to build a connection with them to trust them. You didn't have to. I like referencing the plane rides. I like referencing the train ride type of connections because a lot of us have seen it in movies. A lot of us have even experienced it, like I said before. Strangers sometimes come together and magic happens. It's not coincidence. It's not coincidence. And again, we're using that as a perfect example because that person that you had that enchantment passing through moment is still a stranger. And you can think about that. For everyone here, right? I bet you that enchantment passing through person, that random person you're thinking about in regards to our topic today, I bet you told them something you ain't never told nobody else. I bet you shared with them something you would never share with your spouse or your partner. I bet you told them something you wouldn't even tell your kids because you felt free. And you don't know that person. You don't know their last name. But that's by design. Those energies, that frequency was supposed to match with you in a way. It's supposed to match with you in a way to allow you to do that. That's not mistake. That's a God-given opportunity. That's a God-given opportunity that allows for that to happen. They're going one. Let's see if we get that on the camera again. It's moving. This one, if we can catch it one more time on camera. Oh, see, it's coming closer to me. Fire the cameraman. There we go. Did y'all catch that one? But again, that's what that whole situation is for. I know, we gon' that's what that whole situation is for. It's so that you can gauge the energy. Because even now, as we transcend, as we elevate, as we raise ourselves up, again, it's even more complicated for us to do that now. You missed it? We're going to catch it again, Sonny, guys. As a matter of fact, hold on. Let me tap in. I got my feet barefoot on the ground. We're going to tap in. We're going to ask these fireflies to come and hang out with us for Sonny. Would y'all reveal yourselves for Sonny for us, please? Because Sonny ain't seen a firefly in a while. Hey, Shara. Peace and prosperity to you. Bye, Juliet. We love you. Thank you so much for coming in. So, again, I want us to use that gauge, use that scale to recognize why this is so important. Because even as we grow, even as we raise our frequency, we still have to make those selections. Every single day we have to make those selections. Every single day you need to be looking at your circle and saying, okay, is this fire? Is this cold? Is this warm? And again, it doesn't mean it's negative. It doesn't mean it's negative. It's not like we've raised our frequency too high for us to just have negative people around us. However, everybody has individual journeys. Everybody has connections with other connections. Everybody is meant to grow and evolve. It is quite all right to have that friend and loved one who evolved in a different direction. You still rooting for them. You still love them. They still rooting for you. You still love them. But they went in a different direction, not because they're negative, but because that's their journey. Because that's what they were supposed to do. Like you're supposed to do it as well. Hey, Cam, peace and prosperity to you. Taurus gang, good to see you. And so that's important now more than ever. We don't come up our frequency just to stop using the practices that got us there. We don't come up in frequency and the game changes. We changed. The game doesn't change. We change. We evolve. We still got to play the game, but it's a whole different set of rules. It's a whole different involvement. That's our participation, our experience coming forward. So when I bring this up right now, it's because we need that energy right now. We need to be able to recognize who is fire and who is cold in our lives. And we can use that enchantment passing through, that stranger, that beautiful, amazing moment as a gauge. That's our gauge. I don't want to sound redundant, but I'm repeating it so it can be locked in on the brain and the conscious side. I want this at the front of that third eye. I want this at the front of your third eye. Because when you get off this live with me, I hope and expect that you find a way to ground. Because, of course, obviously, I wouldn't even be able to have these positive messages if I didn't have a clear head with my feet barefoot on the ground, right? People must evolve and change as they go through different experiences. Yes. Yes, Sonny. And we're all meant to be pivotal pieces of that. We're all meant to be days or seasons or years in each other's lives. Releasing old thoughts and habits. I'm definitely ready to move forward with all mine. Absolutely. And we all doing that. That's why these extra keys are important. And that's why I'm providing in a way that we understand, because we all have had these experiences before. We all know what this feels like. All of us have had that experience before. I had a similar moment, an elder black man with hair and all white who spoke wisdom. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Apophic One. I've had it happen. I've been on both sides of that shoe, right? Where I've been someone else's enchantment. Hey, Trina, peace and prosperity to you. Where I got to be that stranger who didn't judge them but gave them real advice. And I've also been on the other side where I'm just randomly trauma dumping on somebody, you know? But they was in such a high frequency to be able to receive my love and give it back to me with knowledge. And that's not a coincidence. That's God. That's God that put both of you in position to be of help to each other. And as you are helping each other, you're helping each other's journeys. The person who's given is going to receive that love back in a different way. The person who is receiving is going to then go on and give that love to somebody else. Divine timing, divine intervention. And we all get to help each other go back and forth with that energy all the time. I do my best to provide that experience. And I always say to myself, and I said this to myself from the beginning, and for those who've been around with me, again, this is episode 178 or 179, right? For those who've been around back at the beginning, and for those who've been around with me, again, this is episode 178 or 179, right? For those who've been around back in like I don't expect every single person to listen to every episode of this show. I don't expect every single person to watch me every day. I am proud and happy that there are some people, they still follow me, they still support me. They may have watched me the whole first 30 to 45 days. They got what they needed, that God set them up to get from me, and now they go on a different mission. It's not that they don't love and appreciate me anymore, but they're on a different mission. And I send them off with love. It ain't no worries, there ain't no loss. Because I recognize that they got the lesson that they needed from me. Some of us will continue to tap into this energy, and I'm here for that. And then I'm going to always attract even more people. Hey, Pretty Dark Brown, peace and prosperity to you. I'm going to attract more people who need to get the message. And some of them might come in, they might stay a couple days, and then they go. And it's okay. Either way, I'm here for all of it. Because I recognize that I'm a vessel of love. And I don't judge how much love someone needs or doesn't need. I have an abundance of love because I'm holding on to this tree. Because I got my feet barefoot on the ground. Hey, Mama Bat, peace and prosperity to you. Peace and prosperity to you, Pretty Dark Brown. I'm not just using my own energy to give love to y'all. I'm tapping into something ancient and something abundant constantly. I don't have to just rely on my own knowledge, my own self. This clarity is available for everyone. This type of energy is available for everyone. That's why grounding is so important. That's why grounding is so important. We have to keep ourselves calibrated so we can recognize things. Because again, everything I'm talking about, y'all know to be true. Y'all can feel it. Y'all can remember it. Y'all all have had that experience. It's no coincidence. Every adult here is like, yep, I know, I've had that. I claim peace and prosperity to you, 3000. Thank you so much for being here. That's not a coincidence. That's life. That's how it works. That's a way we get to share and experience and understanding with each other because we've had that experiences. Right? That's one of the reasons why music is so beautiful and important when it comes to feelings. That frequency reminds you of a moment in a time and a memory. We was talking about Usher earlier. I remember when that You Got It Bad album came out. I think I was still in high school, my last year of high school or year before. And I remember, even though I ain't spoke to this lady in 20 years, and you know what I'm saying, I don't miss her, but I remember how it felt when that song came on. Hey, Perfect. Good to see you in Perfect. Thank you so much for being here. I remember that loving feeling I had for her. I ain't gonna say her name, but she sent me, I was at work. And I used to work in this restaurant called Henry Ford Museum, Greenfield Village. It's called Taste of History, right? Yeah, I can really cook. I have a culinary degree. I can really throw down. And so I had just got off work, and I'm on my way to the bus stop. I'm only like 16, 17. I'm on my way to the bus stop, and I check my voicemails, and I got a voicemail from her. And she's singing You Got It Bad in the voicemail to me. I'll never forget that. I don't miss her. She's happy, married, got beautiful kids. Long since moved on. No connections, no attachments to this day and age at all. But I remember how it felt listening to her sing that song in my ear, in my voicemail, by listening to that song and remembering that moment, remembering that feeling. You got it bad. You know, we have all these different experiences in our life that we need to utilize to recognize when the next experience is coming. Because if you think about it, everything that means something to us is either going to be hot or cold. All that stuff in between, all that mid, is not going to be memorable. It's not going to be memorable. Peace, God. Thank you so much for coming in. Peace and prosperity to you. All that mid stuff is not memorable because it doesn't matter. It's the hot or the cold. So when we have these thoughts and we're writing down our list of 20 hot and cold things, when we're thinking about our enchantment passing through, when we're thinking about these things consciously, not just letting it fester in the back of our mind and back of our hearts, but when we put that in the front of our brain, we can start to recognize what's hot and cold around us. It's a power to do that. It's a whole superpower to recognize who's good for you and who's bad for you in your life at any given time, at any given moment. That's a superpower. That's a way of allowing God to communicate with you. That's a way of allowing things to pop up in your life. My brother talked about numerology earlier. We sometimes see those numbers. It's numbers in the people we connect to. Sometimes we think about a number or think about a person and then that number or that person pop up. All these different connections, they're meant to give us guidance and understanding of where we are, where we're going, and how to keep moving and how to keep going. Because every trial and tribulation, we go up a level. Every time we elevate, we go up a level. We're going to face new obstacles. We're going to face new things. We have to use all the tools that we gained before towards these new obstacles. That's why we talk about this. I want y'all to be able to use that memory of those feelings as a tool to recognize how to move in different situations. And everybody's situation is going to be different. Exactly. A feeling and learning how to move around. Thank you so much. Perfectly Imperfect, thank you so much for the gift. I love you. I appreciate you. Y'all should see that moth just fly at my nose. But yeah, that's a tool for us to use. We don't need to take it for granted. We don't need to take it for granted. We don't need to put negative stigmas on it. That's important too. Because again, I want to re-stress this toward the end of our live tonight, right? Because this is important, right? And for anyone who may have missed the whole message, I'm gonna definitely get this up on YouTube as soon as possible, along with yesterday's episode as well. But it's not just because someone is hot or cold in our life right now does not mean they're a bad or negative person. Especially for all of us who have been doing the healing work, especially for all of us who are only welcoming in peace and prosperity. Someone that might be in your life right now could be cold. And because you know that they're a loving, wonderful person, you might want to hang on to them. That is toxic. Whether we like it or not, that is toxic. We might be delaying or stalling them from something they need, and we definitely are delaying or stalling ourselves from something we need. Go toward what's hot. And it doesn't matter if it was cold yesterday and it's hot today, because what's hot is what's hot. Exactly, they just play a different role. But we don't own nobody. We barely own ourselves. We don't own nobody. Exactly, because even now, while we're going through all this transition, the whole earth is changing, the whole frequency of the world is changing. We need to go in the right direction. And the way we can gauge ourselves, the way we adjust our compass is through nature. And nature is always changing. Nature is always adjusting to the travesties of the world. Nature is always adjusting to war. Nature is always adjusting to all these man-made things that we humans do. And nature never stops. It finds a way to generate whatever it needs to keep going, to keep recreating, to keep being loving and positive. The trees don't go on strike. We all be out of here if they did. Such is our nature, we're naturally... Exactly. Exactly. We're meant to do that. We're meant to do that just like we're meant to have this conversation. Because again, I'm not telling y'all anything y'all don't know. I'm just helping you to remember. And I'm helping you to understand why it's important to think about right now. That's all I'm doing. We all know this to be true. We all can feel it. We've all used this tool of intuition for ourselves on other occasions. I just want you to do it consciously. And I want you to understand that it's okay to do it now. You don't have to wait till tomorrow. You don't have to wait till later. What is later anyway? You can do it now. You can tap into that love and energy now. You can make those adjustments now. Hey, Ghost Star C, peace and prosperity to you. Thank you so much for being here. I'm trying to keep that light from shining in the phone like that. But that's our message for today. We're going to talk about some more tips and tricks on gauging our consciousness, on gauging our connections, our networking. We're going to talk about some more tips and tricks on how we can utilize these hot and cold energies, how we utilize all the energy that comes our way. We're going to get more into that the rest of this weekend as well. Tomorrow I will be live at 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. Absolutely, brother. That's why you're here. That's why we love you. That's why we appreciate your energy. Right? That's why we laugh at your jokes. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a common energy. It's a common understanding amongst us healed, loving people. Amongst us healed, loving people. I'm so fortunate to be able to be in position I am to attract so many people that I see as hot in my life. I'm thankful for that. You know, I get to really gauge myself and my success off of how many loving, beautiful, positive people I'm welcoming in. I can tell I'm on the right track when I'm only welcoming people like Jay, like Juliet. You know, when I'm bringing in new people who are loving, positive people, that's success to me. That's telling me like, yeah, we're doing the right thing. We're going to get into that more too. We're going to definitely get into that more as well. So, Apothic One, thank you so much for being here as well. Everyone, I love you all so much. Thank you all so much for tapping the screen, getting your daily heart needs. I appreciate y'all. I'll be on at 5 p.m. tomorrow and 9 p.m. tomorrow. 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. All right? And I got something special for the 5 p.m. show. I ain't going to tell y'all what it is, but if I were you, I would show up for the 5 p.m. show tomorrow. Thank you. We appreciate you, love you, and appreciate your beautiful energy. I'm about to shut it down. I'll make sure I get this replay up as soon as possible for anyone who may have missed the bits and pieces of it, along with yesterday's episode. Because yesterday's episode definitely had a lot of fireflies in it for those who were looking for the fireflies. Or Dorme, I appreciate you. Miko, I appreciate you. I love you all. I appreciate everybody being here. I will see everyone tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And then again at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Continue to have a wonderful, prosperous, and intentional night. Shara. I love you all. Peace and prosperity to